How we doing, you sexy bunch? Andy plays golf. Today I'm going to be doing a video on how I have cured my slice. This may help you, may not, who knows. But I'm going to show you some things that I do and that I have done that certainly helped my slice or sending it off to the right. So we'll jump into the video, see how we go on, and if it helps, she's magic. So welcome back to the channel. I'm Andy from Andy Plays Golf. I do videos for kind of mid to high handicap golfers. I'm not in any shape a pro, I don't claim to be, so the information I'm going to tell you about is been my experience. You may find a pro out there that's going to tell you differently. If you are seriously struggling with a slice, go and see a professional, go and get lessons, go and get it dialed in. If you've been to see a pro, the stuff I'm going to talk about is probably something they've spoke to you about, but it's just a wee refresher. But it's just something simple, something small that we're going to work on to help you try and get a straighter shot, or ideally a bit of a draw in there. So I do have to say I am nursing a bit of a man flu here, so I do apologise if I sound a wee bit nasally, but I need to grab some Lemsip on the way home. Right, so straight off the bat there's going to be four things we're going to look at. The first one is going to be your grip. Obviously your grip is going to determine how your shot's going to be manipulated. But I'm going to talk about a couple of kind of common sense things rather than just saying this is what the pros should tell you to do. Number two is all about your takeaway, how you actually take away from what I call parallel one, which is your first parallel to the ground. Number three is going to be your transition to stop that over the top swing, which is where you get the over the top with an open club face, causes you to get your slice. But it's something quite simple, we're going to work on with that. And the fourth one's just going to be a general where do we aim and how we should aim our shots. Okay, well first off, why do we slice? Well, we basically slice because we've got an over the top swing, which in your transition you're throwing the club over, and because of that your body and your brain tells yourself open the face up, and as soon as you open the face you're cutting across the ball, somewhat like a flop shot action where you're coming down on it and you get this slicing action. It's very, very common because we think we've got to throw the club over, when in fact all we have to do is bring the club down and turn, but we'll discuss that in number three. Right, so straight off, one thing I do need to say is I still slice the ball, but these are things which I instantly put in place to stop it from slicing, and I usually just get one or two of them in a round, and I know what I've done and I can fix it. So the first thing we're going to look at is the grip. So you're going to hear pros talk about getting a strong grip or a weak grip. Let's just talk about your left hand, which is your lead hand, the one closest to your target. Obviously if you're left-handed, turn it around. A weak grip is going to mean that your thumb is more on top of the club. That wee V that you create is going to be pointing straight up. I'll put some close-ups onto the screen now. And a strong grip is going to be when the V is pointing too far round to the right off the other side of your body. You want that somewhere in between. So the first thing is, if you are slicing the ball, sort that left grip out. Make sure you're getting it stronger. Sometimes too strong is the first step, so you start hooking it left and then you start adjusting it till you find a good place. But somewhere like that would be ideal. I'm not going to talk too much about grip because there's thousands of videos out there about a grip, but that's the main thing I focus on, is just that wee V pointing up to the right of the opposite shoulder. Okay, now the next one is your right hand, which is your trail hand. A lot of guys will just think you've got to cover it on the club. It doesn't really matter where it goes. You actually want it to be under the club if you're a slicer. You can get weak and strong grips on your right hand as well. So too weak a grip is going to be on top of the club, and if you're too strong, your right hand's going to be underneath the club. For a slicer, again, concentrate on getting a stronger grip. Have it coming more under the club. And then if you start hooking your shot left, just kind of ease it off a wee bit and find a good alternative between the both of them. So one thing I've really noticed is that my left hand helps my backswing, my right hand helps my downswing. So if you film yourself and you notice that you're throwing the club over in your downswing, whereas your backswing actually looks okay, based on the things I'm going to talk about in a wee minute, the chances are that's going to be your right hand. If you think about it, your left hand is the one that's pushing the club up, whereas your right hand is the one that's pushing the club down. So if in your transition you're throwing the club over, the chances are you're going to have too strong a right hand, meaning that it's forcing its way over the club and you want to get it down. Okay, so that's kind of sorted out the grip. That's the first thing I look at. And just another wee tip, if you do find that you can't get your hand round right, I was quite tight in my forearm and my wrist when I started doing this, lift it up in the air. Lift it up so it's sitting at an angle that's okay, and just turn your hand round as if you're pressing your palm down and then put your hand on. Another way of doing it is lift it straight up in the air. So any club, so the toes pointing up in the air, and then put your hand on that way. You'll then notice that when you turn the face round, a neutral grip, you'll be pointing straight up in the air with your logo. A weak grip, you're going to be pointing off to the camera, and a too strong grip, you're going to be pointing in at yourself. It's actually quite a difficult thing to do. Point 2, we're going to look at the takeaway. Takeaway is massively important, and this is where your left hand, which is your lead hand, is going to be important on. In your takeaway, if you come round the body, you've got absolutely no chance of bringing that round. The only thing you can do is flip it over the top. So you need to imagine that you've got a bottle out at 45-degree angle off your right foot, and you're hitting that when you're taking it away. If you can imagine you're hitting that bottle, taking it away, what you're going to do is you're going to start to get a more neutral swing plane. You're not coming around your body, you're not out this way, you're over that way. And you might think you're running down the angle of your feet when you do that, but in fact you're actually well round your body. And what happens is, you open the face. The minute you open that face, you've got no chance of bringing that back down again square. You're going to have to do so much work with your hands. Key points here, club face. Make sure that it's matching your spine. If you close it too much on your backswing, the only thing it's going to do is go left. That's fine, work with it. Find a good middle ground. But in this case, you want to take it back, hitting that bottle over that's off your right foot, and having it fairly closed. For me, having my index finger down the shaft of the club, for some reason, stabilises that backswing. Once you've got that, what you do after that doesn't matter. If you've ever hit a good drive, you know what to do, you know how to swing the club, it doesn't matter what you do. Ideally you want to shallow it and you want to do all of that, but as long as you get that first bit on a good swing plane, the rest of your swing doesn't matter. Not that it doesn't matter, it's just a bit less important. Okay, point 3 is going to be about your transition. As I said, if you get your club round, the only thing you're going to be able to do is throw over, right? It's like a reverse Matthew Wolf. If you can get your swing plane more out here, the only thing that you can either do is bring it back down on plane or drop it behind your body, and that's what you want to do. Try and keep that elbow tucked in, lift it up and drop it. If you can imagine pulling a rope down, a church bell down, and then you rotate your body. You don't want to throw the club over. Your right hand should be quite quiet on the downswing. You should actually be thinking about pulling it down and letting your body rotate through the shot rather than throwing the hands. If you get too handsy, you probably notice your ball goes straight up in the air, you're delivering a lot of loft and a lot of distance is lost. So this is good just for generalised swings. Get it around your body and pull it down. The minute you pull it down, your body wants to rotate, and again this is going to take a while to get used to, but keep that closed in and pull it down. If anything, you want really loose hands here. You want to get that visualisation of scooping the ball, scooping it round rather than throwing it. You don't want your hands to throw the club. Last point, point number 4, something a lot of guys miss out on. Where do you line up on the tee box? If you're a slicer, the chances are you're going to put it in the middle of the box because you don't ever think about it. You put it where there's good ground, you put it in the middle of the box and you wonder why it's going right. For me, when I started concentrating on fixing my slice, I used the right hand side of the tee box. I would put my ball well over to the right hand side, sometimes right next to the right hand marker. The reason being, see the minute you do that, if you look at it, it opens up that full left hand side for you. If you're still slicing the shot, if you go to the middle or you go to the left hand side, you're looking at that side, right? Because this full right hand side for me is blocked off when I'm teeing it up in the right hand side of the tee box. I'm not in the tee box now, but if I was, I would be putting it right next to the tee markers. For me, that just means that this full left hand side opens up and I feel as if I can actually draw off the right hand side, if anything. So I'm going to run through a shot. I'm going to run through me what I do hitting a drive. Remember, you're going to see things that I've spoke about. I lift the club up in the air, I have it in a neutral club face, I don't have it too closed or too open. Neutral club face at a kind of 45-degree angle. My hand comes on and I feel that my palm is coming down on it. There's my grip. I try and have my thumb not pushed down too much. I want my thumb in line with my index finger as much as I can. I'm not too worried about the gap that you get in these fingers. Some guys might tell you to close it off. Whatever you want to do, whatever you're comfortable with. When my right hand comes under, again, this V that's created is pointing up to my right hand shoulder, and I feel, if anything, that I have to scoot my body down. You'll see all these guys talk about bump your hips, turn your head. See, the minute you do that, you're already doing it. You don't need to artificially put anything in place. You're already doing it. Okay, and as I spoke about last week about my aiming video, pick something 2 or 3 foot in front of the ball that you're wanting your ball to start on. So I've got really, really light grip pressure here. I'm going to do one takeaway just to make sure that I'm matched up in my spine. And I've got the feeling of how it's going to go. Think about that arm dropping down. And that's a ripper. I was a wee bit off balance, but I'll take it. This is how I've fixed my slice. Remember, I'm not a pro, I don't claim to be. The stuff I've just spoke to you about is simply stuff that I've used out in the course that works for me. If it doesn't work for you, put it in the comments and let me know what worked for you. But for me, this seems to work. So, hope you like it, hope you enjoy. Another wee kind of tip video. If you're new here, give it a subscribe. If you're not new, thanks very much. So I'm going to go. It's starting to rain and I need to go and get my limbs up. So behave yourselves, take it easy. Thanks very much for watching.